Linux?
No, no, I'm using Windows. Ladies and
Why would
gentlemen,
you use
huh?
Windows if you're fucking paranoid?
Because Linux is just as bad. We'll cover that real quick here in a second.
Oh, I
Um,
had an NSA guy tell me Linux is the only, and we got to fucking, you know how much fucking Windows broadcasts of your shit. If you're around a Linux machine, I could, and you can see everything in a fucking Windows machine because it broadcasts, and Linux is the only one that can fucking pick it up without needing some sort of encrypted key or whatever.
uh, well,
We searched around a guy's fucking hard drive.
oh, I know you can, but now here's the kicker when it comes to Linux. Now they pass laws that are making Linux users age verify. So you got to put in your ID and everything else now. So you know,
Linux users.
yeah, yeah,
Is it the website or is it the actual software?
the actual software, everything's going to be age verified now. I mean, it's I mean, full
This
lockdown
is why you're going
paranoid.
to do biometrics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
create the problem, provide the solution.
Yep, yep, and they're trying to, and I mean, they're blaming this on like 3D printing and stuff like that, but it has shit to do.
Bullshit.
I mean, you're talking about the whole right to repair thing, you know, like I don't know. I mean,
Well, you know, there's historical precedents about the jab because they made it unconstitutional to force you to, because they couldn't make a good enough argument under either the general welfare clause or something else. The reason why they did the payouts during COVID had nothing to do with the government being nice. There's a clause in the Constitution that calls for just compensation. The government told you you weren't going to go to work, so by law, by constitutional law, they owed you just compensation. And so that's why we all got the check, regardless of who we were, because we were all owed for fucking lost wages, and to make sure that we could, we didn't have any disruption because the government mandated it. They therefore owed us.
now they're talking about another $1,000 stimulus check come May. I think it is.
For who? I
Everybody.
won't get it.
Oh yeah, everybody. Everybody. Every person.
You can't, you can't find. You know how hard it's gonna be to be able to get that for me.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it will go somewhere. You know, there was checks and stuff that showed up and like random mailboxes and things that was, you know, like cards and stuff for people that, you know, were either dead or passed away. The whole system when they distributed all that money was crazy, man.
Well,
Um,
yeah, it was meant to be that way, though. It's all by design. It has to be, because without waste, fraud, and abuse, you don't have a system. That is modern capitalism.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Paranoid Times. We are once again doing a darker side of the JFK stuff. I'm here with Tuck. I noticed the numbers keep going up and down. I'm not sure what that's from, but anyway, hopefully I didn't mess the setting up. But anyway, we'll keep going with it, and everybody can catch up when they need to. You know, this is called the JFK Assassination, the Cosmically Unhinged Edition. We're going to be discussing lizard people, interdimensional beings, UFOs, the Hollow Earth, ancient gods, and more.
Ancient gods got into this?
Yes, ancient gods is in this.
Everybody just wants a piece of JFK so that they can. This, yeah, it's like basically you need your kingmaker for your conspiracy, and fucking the JFK files are it.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, I'm not too loud, guys. Um, I wasn't sure about that comment. Maybe they was just joking. But anyway, um, we'll start tonight's stream with the most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all of its contents. Do you know who said that?
Either Freud or Mark Twain.
It was H.P. Lovecraft, The Call of the
Who's that?
Cthulhu, 1926.
Who is that?
H.P. Lovecraft? You know, the
Yeah.
uh, Cthulhu and the In a Mouth of Madness and Mountains of Madness and Oh my!
I don't know who this is.
I, he's like he's like one of the first prolific authors to be classified as a racist here lately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll send you some stuff. We'll deal with that. Now I feel bad. Um,
Why?
because you don't know about that. I'm gonna have to make sure. I'm gonna have to make sure you know about H.P. Lovecraft because H.P. Lovecraft is the shit. Anyway, he's the kind of stuff that makes you stay up at night. Um,
I don't know that whole mouse thing you did with the no name virus. That kind of kept me up for a few hours, dude. I actually had a nightmare about it. Fucking, I woke up and my food bag was chewed by these mice, and I ended up catching it.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you dreamed that the mice was in your food bag and you had caught the hantavirus.
Yeah, because the mice had eaten in my food bag. That was the dream.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I have that. Yeah, that's why I don't watch scary movies. Because I'm that person that it's not that I have nightmares. It's just that it plays out in my subconscious when I'm asleep.
Yeah, yeah. Lovecraft was racist. Um, I'll do a thing on Lovecraft at some point. I have to now. I have no choice. I need to. Um, yep. All right. Anyway, uh, okay. Last time I promised you I would stay in the realm of merely paranoid, which I hope I did. You know, when we did the Warren Commission and stuff like that. You know, I talked about the CIA, the mob, the grassy knoll, documents that are still classified, things that are documented, sourced, argued about by historians in peer-reviewed journals, things that could, in theory, be resolved by a release of a filing cabinet. You know, you guys were cool with that, except probably the time travel thing. But um, once again, I want to add that in the comments and in the description, I will provide you a unhinged reading list of all the stuff that I gathered my things from, in case you want to go back and verify or look or whatever it is you need to do. Um, that this is and as I said on the trailer today, I do not believe anyone has ever done a video like this that combined all of these things. I've not been able to find anything like it. I've not heard anyone talk about all of these things together. Um, and this is only part of what I have when it comes to the JFK stuff. Just keep that in mind. I remember I told you in yesterday's video there's many shovels of shit. Um, but anyway, so we're going to start here. Now tonight is different. Tonight we're going somewhere that no filing cabinet can help you. Tonight the theories get, and I want to use the precise clinical term here, completely unhinged. I am going to tell you about lizard people. I am going to tell you about UFOs and alien intelligence. I am going to tell you about interdimensional beings who feed on human fear. I am going to tell you about ancient bloodlines and Babylonian death cults and a hollow earth and a man named David Icke and a woman who claims to channel the consciousness of a Palladian star being who told her personally that Kennedy was killed to prevent humanity's ascension. I will present all of this with a straight face, or at least try. I gave you with the Warren Commission. Because here's what I learned doing this show and my other shows and my other channels and my other stories. The line between documenting government conspiracies and lizard people is thinner than you think. Not because lizard people are real, but because once a government has proven it, will be a lie to you about a murder of a president, the question becomes, where do you draw that line? Who decides what's too crazy to believe? The same institutions that lied to you? I'm not saying lizard people did it. I'm saying if they did, would you be surprised? Are we ready? Duck, you still there? Hello.
Locked and loaded. Let's go.
Oh, okay.
Let, let's hear some of these. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I thought I lost you there. All right. So we're
Can you hear
going.
me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
No, I just took myself off mute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I was worried there for a second. All right, here we go. All right, David Icke, former BBC sports presenter, former goalkeeper for the Covington City Football Club, man who in 1991 appeared on the Terry Wogan Show in a turquoise tracksuit and announced that he was the Son of God.
Mm,
And, and
that
that,
was in '91.
yeah, that was in 91.
I thought
And
he did that in the '70s.
no, that was 91. And he said the world would end in 1997. Um, the studio audience laughed for what witnesses described as a very long time. He was not deterred, though. He was serious about this for some reason. 30 years later, David Icke has sold millions of books, filled arenas, and has developed what is either the most elaborate unified theory of human control over construction or the most elegant delusion in the history of British eccentricity. Both are possible. I don't know. The core argument, as best as I can summarize it, there exists a race of beings. Ike calls them the Acherons, or the reptilians, or sometimes the Anunnaki. I think he borrows that from the other one. Who are not from our dimension. They exist in a frequency of realities adjacent to our own, only that vibrate at slightly different rates and is therefore invisible to most human perception. These beings discovered a very long time ago that human beings in a state of fear, trauma, and suffering produce a particular kind of psychic energy. Ike calls it loose, that these beings can feed on, like emotional vampires, like psychic cattle farmers. To harvest this energy more efficiently, the reptiles need direct control over humans' civilization. So they infiltrated. They took physical forms or possessed willing humans, hosts. Um, the account varies, and they install them in the highest levels of power. Royal bloodlines, banking dynasties, political families, the Vatican, the military industrial complex. They have been running human civilization as a fear farm for approximately 5,000 years. Now, I want to add something I didn't add to my article here. There are times when I have watched Congress, and you have to wonder if there isn't something behind those faces. I mean, I don't know. There's like I said, there's been videos of them with their eyes twitching and their bodies acting weird, and I don't know if it's old age or what it is, but something is strange is there. I'm sorry. Um, but anyway, I mean, it seems like it would be an idea for some civilization to do. But where does Kennedy
I
fit
think
in?
David Icke.
Go ahead.
I think David Icke is a quack.
I
The
do too.
fact that he thought he was the son of God completely discredits anything future. He just found a conspiracy that he can get enough people to believe and not laugh him off the stage.
But here's my Yeah, oosh. Yeah, someone said it's pronounced oosh. But no, I mean here's where I am with David Icke. I mean, there are a lot of people that believe him. The amount of books he has sold, that means there are that many followers out there of the idea that they're lizard people. And there are people who claim they've seen them and met them and everything else. I mean, do I think he's nutty? I do. Um, but I have met a lot of nutties that believe they were the son of God. You know, maybe it's a symptom of the vision. I don't know. You know, you got to be crazy to figure it out. I don't know, but yeah, I agree with you. He is crazy. Um,
Well, you gotta realize though, humans um through Christianity have been conditioned that an outside force is going to come and save us. Well, another outside force is going to come and try and destroy us. And so humans realize that within Christianity that they have no control over anything. It's these supernatural forces. So he played on this whole thing of, these are the ones that are here to destroy you. And then, but he's also got to create these are the beings that are the beings of light. And and then it just kind of keeps evolving into some elaborate conspiracy. He's just playing on human conditioning, and he just found out how to tap the market. That's all.
okay. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you on that, not especially when it comes to him. Like I said, I don't think it's lizard people. I don't think. Do I think the possibility that there are lizard people out there? Sure. Um,
you know
do I think that David Icke is in cahoots with them? No, somehow. But anyway, the Icke framework. This is how Kennedy fits into this thing. Um, and the Icke framework and the work of the researchers who have extended and elaborated his ideas. Kennedy represents a human leader who becomes aware of the control system, who begins to see behind the curtain, whose moves toward peace, the Cuban back channels, the Vietnam withdrawal order, his documented hostilities toward the CIA and the Federal Reserve, his speech at the American University in June 1963, calling for a general coexistence with the Soviet Union, were not merely political decisions, but represented a direct threat to the fear harvesting apparatus. The world at peace does not produce enough loose. Sorry. A world where charismatic, beloved president is successfully dismantling the military industrial fear machine in a world where the reptilians will go hungry. So they had to kill him.
oh my God.
The human
Oh,
conspirators, the CIA, the mob, the Texas old men were, in this reading, not the masterminds. They were the employees, the middle management, the human collaborators in a much older and more alien operation. The actual decision was made in theory
fuck.
at the level of reality that does not appear in the Warren Commission document because the Warren Commission document cannot subpoena an interdimensional lizard.
Oh fuck. Yeah, what a quack. Oh my God, dude. He's just preying on fucking people's ignorance and willing. You ever heard Glenn Beck talk about the Bubba effect?
Um, maybe.
So basically, there is so much distrust that all of a sudden somebody comes out like Bubba and says something weird, like "we got reptilians," and because there's so much distrust that people would believe that even if it was a lie, than believe anything that comes from the government because you can't trust them anyway. It's called the Bubba effect.
A Bubba effect.
Yeah. I'm sure you could probably Google or ask Grok about Glenn Beck and his definition of um of the Bubba effect.
Overland, you are free to leave. I'm not keeping you here. Look, I'm sorry. Some of these names are hard. Words are hard sometimes. And the other thing is, no, I don't believe David. I don't believe him. You are apparently a hardcore believer in him. Now, if you're willing to believe somebody cold-heartedly, I think you have lost the plot. You're just as blind as the rest of these morons that believe this guy. Like I said, you're free to go. You're not willing to explore and to see where the truth may lead, because it's sure as shit not coming from lizards. Anyway, sorry about that. Now I want to be careful here. The reptilian elite theory has been extensively and correctly criticized for being a thinly veiled anti-Semitic conspiracy.
Anti-Semitic, really?
Yeah.
So the crazy had to one up the next crazy, huh?
Well, I mean, David is a Jew hater. I mean, he is openly, admittedly,
really?
yeah. And he tried to push that across the board, and he tried to say, like everybody else, he's, you know, the people he couldn't turn, the people he couldn't make them believe. He tried to shift them, just like the individual that's in our group here that disagrees with how I pronounced his name.
Well, he is kind of icky.
Yeah, he is icky. And I mean, I've always thought he was icky. But anyway, the shape-shifting lizard in control of banks, media, and ancient whatever, dressed up in science fiction clothing. Ike denies this. Critics don't believe him. This is a legitimate and serious concern about theory's social function, independent of factual content.
You know, did you ever see his? He made it on national television. I think it was with Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura, where he goes and sees these people with scales on their back, and they claim to be part lizard, and they're the ones telling him all this stuff.
Well, one thing, though. Overland, fine. If you want to stay, that's great. But here is my last and final warning. I have a ghost list. And what I do, I put people on that list. I will ban you. Not kick you from the groups, not kick you from the channel, but I will make you invisible, where you cannot talk to anyone on here, or say anything, or discuss your ideas. Now, you're more than welcome to stay, but if you're going to insult me, Tuck, or anybody else here, I will kick you. All right. Because this is only a small portion of tonight's conversation. And you're really going to hate it when I really do talk about them. But I also want to know, huh?
About who?
When I actually do talk about David.
Oh.
I mean, tonight was this small portion. But when I actually do talk about David and the shit that he's done and the shit that he's been behind, you're really going to hate it. Anyway, let's move forward. I want to get off this topic.
Okay. What's the next conspiracy? So we got the lizard people. We got, what about, okay, how did the people at the center of the earth, how did they get
Well, we'll get to that one. Now we're moving on to UFOs, MJ-12, and the Alien Accord.
Okay.
Okay. Kennedy knew about extraterrestrials. That's why he died. This theory has more documented scaffolding than you might expect, so bear with me. In 1947, something crashed near Roswell, New Mexico. The U.S. Army Air Force initially announced it as a recovered flying disc, and then immediately retracted the statement. and called it a weather balloon. We all know the story, but unfortunately, I have to say it again. The officer who made the initial announcement, Major Marcel, later said privately that the weather balloon story was a cover-up. That what he says was not from Earth. In the years following Roswell, a set of documents appeared, first in the hands of U.S. UFO researchers, lastly acknowledged in declassified files, referring to a secret government group called Majestic 12, or MJ-12. This group allegedly consists of 12 senior officers, military intelligence, and scientific. So different peoples within different categories of the government and so forth. Tasked with managing the United States government relationships of EI or ET. Managing the relationship, not investigating, managing it, implying that there was a relationship to manage. If you go back and you look at the documents, they don't say they're investigating aliens. They say they are managing sightings. They say they are managing what people have seen. You know, they're like, if you see something and you report something, then they have to manage what you see to the public, and they have to manage supposedly what's going on with them.
Because they want to suppress it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's where the whole Man in Black thing comes from. Like the movies and things.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Overland, you're gone. All right, he has been removed from the initial chat of the group, but he's still partially on the screen. Anyway, sometimes that's one thing that kind of like messes up some live streams. You get somebody in there and they, Barto, you're on a lot with me. How would you feel about being a moderator? Because we're going to start bringing in more and more people. And if you would feel like doing that, I mean, I can make you a moderator. And you would be a great help, dude. Tuck might even be able to use you if you're able.
I've got moderators. I've got about 4 or 5 of them.
Oh, I didn't know if you still having problems with them.
No, every once in a while you got to purge your moderators because they get too big of a head. But other than that,
yeah, I knew that I was going to bring in some trolls because of the live streams. Thank you. I
learned just to ignore the trolls or just let them do their thing. I don't. Every once in a while somebody will twinge me off. I'll do something about it, but it's kind of nice because my moderators are kind of timid, and so if you piss them off, you went too far.
And see, what's the difference between a managed moderator and a standard moderator? They changed that.
A managed moderator is going to have more permissions. I put people as a standard moderator. If you're going to put a managing moderator, that's somebody that may even have access to your back end.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah.
All right, Barto, you're a moderator. So if you see something, get rid of them if you want to. I mean, you can let them go for a little bit, but if they consistent like Overland was, then deal with it. Thank you. Anyway, here we go. All right. The documents were contested. So some researchers believe they are genuine. Others believe they are forged. Have you had a chance to look at the MJ stuff?
I've watched stuff on a History Channel about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot different once you get your hands on them. I mean, I have them. I can send them to you if you want to, like, run through them. But, I mean,
I got so much on my plate. If I have time, I would, but uh, I mean, between walking, um, and doing all the stuff that I got to do, and then having to sit there and like tie myself to a plug-in. I don't really have much time for anything.
Hmm. Well, I mean, if you want them, I have them. If you see something online that interests you, I probably have it.
Yeah.
But anyway, here's where Kennedy enters the picture. Try and get our group back here. All right. In 2011, a document surfaced. It's it was disputed, as always. It was supposed to be a classified CIA memo from November 12th, 1963, 10 days before the assassination. The memo, addressed to the head of a covert operations group, allegedly shows Kennedy demanding access to CIA files on UFOs and extraterrestrial intelligence. Kennedy had also, according to the related documents, written to NASA requesting cooperation on a joint space program with the Soviet Union. Programs that, if they had moved forward, might have revealed classified information about what both superpowers had discovered in space. Did you ever see what the Russians or the Soviets found on Venus? That's some
No.
weird stuff. All right, now there was we were obsessed with going to Mars, so the Soviets had to be obsessed with going somewhere. We got to the moon first, so then they had to get somewhere first. And we shifted our eyes on Mars, so we started sending probes to Mars. We tried sending a probe to Venus, it didn't work out. So they tried sending probes to Venus. First three, I think it was, failed. Something happened. They blew up on the launch pad or whatever. But then they got two up there. And Venus is so hot. I mean, I think one lasted 15 minutes, the other burned up on contact. But there is a video, pictures and a little short video. It shows this spider-looking creature crawling across the surface. That is unhinged. Anyway, I don't know if it was some thing the Soviets were doing to try to screw with us because there's been a lot of rolling misinformation they tried to do, trying to push stuff back and forth, trying to fool each other. I
You
don't.
know what though? Russia and the United States, most of what you saw was in what was just rhetoric for the masses, so that you could our side and your side, and so that we could keep our unity. But in reality, the United States and Russia worked so closely behind the scenes that they were doing joint projects even as they were enemies of each other. Public enemies, private friends.
I mean, I always found it interesting. We were always fighting with them and always ready to, and then we're ready to do stuff with them in space. Like the space stations and things like that. I mean, and I mean, we work right alongside of them, and we give them access to we would give them access privately now to the space station, and they were running experiments and stuff up there. So I mean, I don't know. I just find all that strange, that we would go through and do all that. Why would we? I don't know. It seems like if they were somebody that we were against and we were trying to compete with on a lot of different levels, then why would we want to work with them like that? Um, yeah, I don't know.
Because our politicians are two faced enough to be able to fucking to be able to double speak.
I wonder if it's all a lie. Originally.
It is a lie.
Yeah.
There's we have not had any truth in this country. God, I mean, we're finding out that even Walter Cronkite and all of those fucking big guys, they were all, you know.
Who was the last one that died? Was it Walter Cronkite or was it the other
I
one?
think so.
Yeah. I know there was one that died here recently, and there's a big thing about it. And Trump said something, and he was of course, they always call out Trump. I don't know why. I mean, they call out whoever, whatever president there is anymore. It seems like. Um, that's the reason why I wouldn't want to be president, because I mean, you catch hell regardless of what you do. I mean, you can smile at somebody wrong, you catch hell.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just saying. I mean, like he's expected to do whatever. Him, her, whatever. I mean, I don't know. This job's got to fuck us up.
you were in the military, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not there to be liked. I'm there to be respected. You know, who gives a shit if people like you or not? It's about whether or not you command the respect. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of them pretend it though. Like you got you kind of like show face, and it's people put on the show and this act and try to. I don't know. You just gotta like experience that part of it, and it's not. The actual environment and people and things, and especially the chain of command, and when you start to experience it and go through it, that's what's worse on you than anything else. I don't know. Anyway, but let's get to the Kennedy. The theory is Kennedy was pushing too hard for disclosure. He was going to tell the public, or at a minimal, the Soviets, which, intelligent terms, was worse. What the government knew about ET, contacts, and stuff like that. MJ12, or whatever the group that come after them, managed this information, decided he had to be stopped. The assassination was not CIA protecting Vietnam for war profits. It was the UFO control apparatus protecting the greatest secret in human history. The Oswald connection in this version, Oswald worked as a U-2 spy plane, worked at a U-2 spy plane base in Japan before his deflection to the Soviet Union. The U-2 program was one of the most classified in American history. Some researchers believe that Oswald was exposed to information at that base about the U-2 was really photographing, or what it was really looking for. Because I actually believe the U-2 was believed to look for like alien crash sites and stuff like that. So Oswald was basically not a lone gunman. He was just a loose end with classified knowledge. This one I can kind of go behind.
To a point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in there. It's like, okay, yeah, that's a little far fetched, but okay.
Now, I do want to bring up a little strange thing here. We was talking about the scientists, and I was talking about the scientists and them going missing and being murdered and everything. It's happening in China too. I just found that out. Huh?
There's got to be a reason why.
Same kind of researchers, same kind of people, same kind of scientists.
Huh. That's kind of interesting.
It is. And like I said, I discovered that information. Well, it was part of it was this morning, and part of it was yesterday morning. And I was like, and well, I don't know Mandarin that well. But I was, like I said, I was trying to dig through the information, and I was seeing that all these scientists were either going missing or they were being offed.
Just like John Galt.
Huh?
Who is John Galt?
No, being offed.
Yes, but I'm just saying, who is John Galt? All the business leaders and the top people in the world come up missing, and everybody left John Galt. Ayn Rand.
Oh, okay.
Who is John Galt? Basically, they're all being assembled as like the brains of the world to survive the world and bring us back to stability or some shit like that. John Galt.
Oh, but why would they pick all this? Why would they pick all the like UFO people and the propulsion people and
That's the weapons of the future. That's what we're gonna. They expect us to be like the Jetsons when we come out of this war, most likely. They're, from what I've understood, from what Meyer talks about, is that a lot of these billionaires and elites and stuff like that think that that they can go and they can push the button, go hide in their bunkers, and come out a year later and everything will be fine. That's what these guys think.
did you ever catch the thing about Jetsons where I used to watch it as a kid?
Yeah, me too.
But did you ever notice they never went to the surface?
I think they did in one or two episodes.
See, I was the person that made the show said the surface had been destroyed or part of it or whatever, and they had to live in the sky and those tower things,
Uh-huh.
and that's the reason they had flying cars and things, and that's the way they predicted the future would be. Um, I don't know. I always thought that was weird and interesting. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
And
when you've got
it's one of the things a lot of people miss. I don't know.
when you've got mutually assured destruction, um, and then it's inevitable that one day you guys are gonna nuke each other.
True. Now, I should know the U.S. government's relationship with UFOs and UAP phenomena has become significantly less deniable in the past decade. The Pentagon officially confirmed multiple videos of unidentified aerial phenomena in 2020, and of course, 2023 congressional testimony of David Grush, a former intelligence officer, including claims made under oath of a secret government program involving non-human intelligence receiving craft. These claims have not been confirmed, and they have not been fully denied. Um, but the government don't seem to mind him talking about them for some reason. Um,
They want this out. They have to explain the leap, and now that because we're about ready to use this in the next war.
the intelligence apparatus of the United States, within the last 5 years has moved from there are no UFOs to we can't rule anything out to a former official testifying under oath about retrieved vehicles. I
Are you
mean,
familiar?
it feels a little fanfare to me.
Are you familiar with the Orson Welles experiment?
You talking about where the radio station thing, or
Yeah, yeah. He did not want it to air, and the government wanted to know what the effects were, and at that point in time they realized that people were so scared of it that it would cause mass hysteria and fucking religions would crumble and all this other shit. So they've kept it under wraps, but if you've noticed, the government has been slowly moving towards eroding religion and all that other stuff so that one day this could be introduced.
mm. I mean, I think we are moving to something. I don't know what it is, but I think we are moving to something. I don't know what it is. I don't think. I don't know. I'm still not 100% sold on the UFOs. However, it seems like I keep getting like data drops and more UFO pictures and things, and it's like someone or something or the government's trying to sell me on UFOs now for some reason. I don't know. But anyway,
Oh no, it's probably AI that's doing it because it's feeding you everything.
no, these are old ones. These are like stuff I haven't seen. Like today I
No,
found.
I'm talking about
Oh,
the data and the information, putting it in front of you.
oh yeah,
It's being
probably.
served up to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Um, the next one is interdimensional controllers.
Okay.
Do you have something you can say for about 2 minutes while I go use the bathroom and smoke? I need a cigarette after that thing. I'm
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to
yeah.
get normal
I'll bore these guys. I'll
I,
bore
I'm
these
I'm
guys
I'm
while you
I'm
guys
trying to
while
get
you
my
talk.
brain back to normal. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No worries. Sometimes, hey, trolls are fun though. You guys should like trolls. Turn them into, if you. One of the things that I always tell my moderators is if they're gonna troll, they should at least be entertaining. If they're not entertaining, tell them to shut up, or tell them to at least be entertaining or shut up. Because trolls should at least, if they're gonna come in and blow up chat, they should at least entertain. But anyways, for those of you who don't know who I am Friar Tuck. I have my main channel, which is the Epoch of Friar Tuck, and I cover homelessness, education, and survival. So
Don't forget
whether
about
you're just
about
curious,
your other channel.
I will in a second. Whether you're curious about homelessness, you think it's going to happen to you, or you just want it part of your prepper survival if you're a prepper, my content is good for you. And now I've started this. It's a review channel. So as I go through, because I travel everywhere and I always see like touristy stuff, and I like to stop in for hot food, especially at a gas station or whatever when I'm on trail. Um, I created a channel called The Broke Critic, and that allows me to kind of do reviews of like all the different places. So if you're interested in like good gas station food, restaurants, fucking spooky shit, historical sites, whatever touristy kind of interesting stuff I see that I can, sit back and kind of review my experience. That way, if you ever decide you want to be a low budget traveler like me, you can you at least know some places where you can go hang out. Oh, I thought that was 2 minutes. So yeah, I was usually the kid that went over. Um, but it is what it is. But anyways, yeah, you guys could come check me out there. But right now, I'm on the Chesapeake and Ohio towpath. Um, One of my subscribers asked me about going to Gettysburg, and that was spooky. Harper's Ferry here is supposed to be really spooky too. There's supposed to be like a graveyard and stuff like that here. And you're supposed to, in the fog, you're supposed to be able to see. Um, you're supposed to be able to see the uh, uh, I think it's the Confederate soldiers. It might be a Revolutionary battleground, but I think it may be uh, either Revolutionary or Confederate soldiers, something like that. But anyways, it's an old grave site for fallen soldiers, and so it's supposed to be haunted. So I'll be checking out things like that. It's just, but I'm kind of what I like to call a walk by tourist. I'm walking by, I take a look at it, and take a picture of it, and I just keep on moving. Huh, that was interesting. It's very rare that something makes me stop and go like, "Ooh, I want to see this inside and out."
I'm back.
Good, I was running out of things to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think I mispronounced Lush. I don't know.
Who cares? Don't let these people get to you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
You're
He got to me on the David Icke thing.
It's just like instead of being able to yell at the TV, they're now able to type on the keyboard in their mother's basement.
I don't know.
So just don't give them free rent.
I don't know. It doesn't normally bug me, but it bugged me that way for some reason. I mean, normally I just let them go, but I mean, yeah, that time it just
Yeah,
and
you know, I,
that's
I
yeah.
I've noticed people with drawls like yours are very self conscious about the way you speak, and you shouldn't be.
We
People
are.
can understand you. Yeah, I've got a lot of subscribers that are like a couple of people in North Carolina and some of the other southern states, and they're all worried about. It's like, nah, you're fine. But you should quit being so self conscious about it. If people can't take a joke, fuck them.
No, I'm good now. I mean the medicine will kick in here in a second.
Samantha Marie.
No. Okay, so now we're talking about the interdimensional controllers.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is the one that there is some credence to, in the sense. Remember, I'm sorry, I still have yet to send it to you. This is about the well, not about, but it is in line with the thing that happened down there in Florida, the mall incident. You know, where I was talking about the individual walking out and he's starting to see all these people dying and shit.
Oh, okay.
Um, which we really need to cover. I don't know. So anyway, I need to distinguish between aliens and interdimensional beings, and I guess in a way we can have both. You know, there could be aliens and there could be interdimensional beings, because the research community, and I use that term loosely and affectionately, is very particular about this distinction. Aliens are from planets. They travel through space. They have bodies, technology, and biology. They
They're
could,
domestic dimensional beings.
yep, they could, in theory, be explained by advanced science. Interdimensional beings are something else. They are from adjacent layers of reality, different vibrational frequencies of existence, parallel dimensions that occupy the same physical space as ours
Huh.
and are outside normal human perception. They do travel through space. They step sideways through the fabric of reality and appear in ours. Now, there is something we also should say real quick, is that the scientists in CERN say that these things are real and that they have brought them here. I mean, this is coming from the people that work at CERN.
They're real and they brought them here. What proof do they have?
They said they opened up a portal.
And they brought somebody here.
Yeah, I mean, we will cover that soon.
Well,
But
yeah, because I remember when we first started doing this, you kept saying you do something on CERN.
yeah, I mean, this was stuff from scientists. I mean, like the head researcher at CERN said we had opened up something we don't understand, and he called it a portal. Um, and then the whole Google stuff, where they're starting to get signals from that inner dimension there. You know, to do with Tesla and to do with all these other things. So, you know, this might be what we call angels or demons, but we'll get into that in a minute. You know, the distinction matters to the people who believe in both. The way it matters to theologians is something you call an angel or an alien. The interdimensional controller theory of the Kennedy assassination draws on a specific body of research. Much of it is associated with the work of Jacques Vallée, a French-American scientist, a computer pioneer, and a UFO researcher, who is, unlike most people in this field, generally credited and generally rigorous. We're going to talk about Saturn here in a little bit. Well, I mean, there's also something that amazes me about the the people of this group and my subscribers and stuff. I mean, they're like on the money for some of this stuff.
Well, yeah.
It's wild. No, I mean, like there's some of this stuff that I've had like suitcased back and I haven't even talked about, and you have to really dig for it. And then somebody pops up something that says Saturn, you know, yeah, Saturn. Anyway, we'll get there in a minute. Because the whole Saturn stuff is wild. It is bizarre. Anyway, okay. This scientist has spent decades investigating UFOs, paranormal phenomena, and concluded that physical spacecraft from another planet model was wrong. The phenomena he argued, were too psychic to be purely physical. They seem to interact with human consciousness directly. They change their behaviors based on belief. They appear in cultural forms that match the expectations of the observer, as angels to the medieval Christians, as fairies to rural Europeans, as spacecraft to the mid-20th century Americans. They were, he suggested, a control system, not extraterrestrial, not supernatural in the religious sense, but generally non-human and operating in ways that deliberately shaped human belief, human behavior, and human history. In the Kennedy context, if there are beings that operate at the level of human civilization, nudging events, shaping belief systems, managing the broad arc of human history from purposes we can't fully understand, then the death of Kennedy is not just a political event, it is a managed narrative event, a reset, a course correction. What's been known as the Kennedy trajectory, his peace incentives, his confrontation with the military-industrial complex, his public rhetoric about dangers of secret society and shadow power structures. In this reading, a deviation of the managed path, human leaders who developed genuine autonomous momentum, who was starting to pull too hard on the threads that connected the things no human was supposed to touch. The controllers corrected it. The controllers always correct it. Not because they are evil. That's the part that makes the version of this theory philosophically interesting and generally disturbing. In the interdimensional controller model, the beings manage human civilization are not necessarily malevolent. They may be farming us, yes. They may be curating us or cultivating us, guiding a species through a developmental process that requires certain junctures, the removal of individuals who may threaten to advance too quickly. Kennedy in this reading was not killed, he was pruned. The scientist himself never made this argument about Kennedy specifically. I want to be clear about that. Some of his followers did, though.
Pruned how?
Huh? Why Kennedy was
You
pruned?
said he was pruned. Explain that.
Um,
Yeah, explain that. What the whole purpose of pruning him for?
well, I mean, because if Kennedy succeeded in the things that he was doing, the exposing the secret societies, exposing the, you know, everything everybody was doing, the supposedly the aliens and the Soviets and everything else. If Kennedy exposed all that, then these creatures, these things would we would know about them. We would have advanced too far, too fast, too quick, for their liking. And they're trying to control us. They're trying to keep us on a certain path of both dumbing us down and enlightenment. Like they want to be the gods, so to say. They don't want us to step, over, I guess you would say.
Yeah, they don't want us to ascend to the fourth dimension.
I don't know about that, but I mean, they definitely they don't want us to become smarter than we are. I mean, because if we can, become like them, and if we can, develop weapons that can counter them, then that would scare another civilization and things.
What if it's more or less we're not peaceful enough?
Well, I always thought that. I mean, that goes back to my whole prison planet thing. Like, we're put here, And it also is also in line with this to some degree that we would have these watchers and things that would watch us and keep us suppressed, down enough where we, can't step outside our bounds.
I think that if you listen to what Meyer hints at, that something like that's kind of being done, because we've advanced far more technological than we have consciously. And until we balance out, we kind of have to be contained so we don't destroy the whole fucking universe.
Well, I'm kind of curious about like the 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 lady that supposedly channeled or talked to the Palladian, and she's the one that said that he would have to be eliminated. And I wonder if that's some kind of Meyer connection.
No, I mean, she may have read his stuff and fucking just playing on it, but no, no, Meyer has refuted her so much. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Um, there are people just like with you. There are people that will take your shit, and pass it on as their own. That was just what they used to do back in the day before they had social media.
Mm.
Alex Collier's the same thing. Him and Michael Horn actually roomed together while going to a conference to learn about Meyer.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, a lot of these people are just they're trying to play on the hysteria, and if they can tell a fantastic enough story and get people to go, "Hey, this guy," then you know, uh, yeah, it's just a way for them to make money, and they're con artists.
Well, that's kind of what I say here. Yeah, I say, I said, but these people have extended his works in a less rigorous direction. I'm talking about the UFO guy, and have gone there, and they have gone there with great enthusiasm. They have written books with titles that contain words cosmic and gateway, and feature pyramids on the covers. I've read several of these books, and I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Like I said, people want to find ways to make money, and they will, and they
Well,
tag on stuff.
we're conditioned that an outside force is going to save us. If you listen to all of these individuals, the one thing where they differ and from Meyer is they all sit there and say that there's something here that's you've got people, you've got an outside force that's influencing good, and da da da. It's always an outside force. Whereas Meyer says everything's within. You do this yourself. There's no one coming to save you, and he keeps trying to get people to understand that no one's coming to save you. We have to do this on our own.
Now, the next theory is the Anunnaki and the royal bloodlines.
Okay.
This is the ancient gods. There was a gentleman. He was born in Azerbaijan. He was educated in Palestine. He died in New York in 2010 at the age of 90. He spent most of his adult life translating Sumerian cuneiform tablets and reaching conclusions that no mainstream scholar has ever endorsed. Of course. He concluded the Sumerian text described a literal, rather mythological term that a race called the Anunnaki. I think we've talked about this before. Those
Is
who,
this Zachariah Sitchin?
yeah, this is Zechariah.
Okay.
Who from heaven the earth came, and so on like that. We all know the story, the Planet X and everything. They come for gold. They needed it to repair their planet's failing atmosphere. Sadly, this goes along with the whole tablet video. But you didn't know there was a JFK link, did you?
Oh, there's always a JFK link.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to attach themselves for fucking credibility.
But
I
see,
think that's one thing that makes all of these fucking stick is like some of the most common or most widely accepted conspiracy theories all are tied themselves to JFK.
but here's where it gets weird. You remember me talking about the bloodlines and the power and
Yeah.
okay. See, this is where the bloodline argument and where Kennedy lives and enters in it. His extended framework, the ruling families of Earth, the British royal family, the dynasties, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Bushes, the Clintons, are not purely human. They carry a higher percentage of this genetic material than the general population. This genetic inheritance manifests in enhanced intelligence, longevity, different relationships to conventional moralities, the ability to perceive and interact with control structures that govern human civilization. The Kennedys in this framework are complicated. Some researchers place the Kennedys within the bloodline network. Joe Kennedy's connection to the financial elite, his ambassadorship, his relationship with the British establishment. In this reading, JFK was killed because he betrayed the bloodline compact. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, you're going to love that. Never mind. Okay, he went rogue. He started using the access to the power structures for genuine humanistic ends rather than management of the human herd. He was a bloodline member who defected to the species that he was supposed to govern. Other researchers place Kennedy outside the inner bloodline as a Catholic Irish family that crashed the WASP establishment. You know what that is, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, we'll get to it. And was never fully trusted by the deeper power structure. Kennedy was killed for betraying his bloodlines, for threatening the bloodlines that he was never meant to approach. Both readings produced the same conclusion: Kennedy dead, though different different alien roots or whatever. This is either suspicious or the kind of thing that happens when you build a theory with enough flexibility to absorb any outcome. I personally do not believe this one or can't really grab onto it. That's kind of why I'm sort of like rolling over it, because, you know, it just makes us look like livestock.
I mean, we're managed like livestock, but we don't need external forces to do
Yeah.
that. We can do that on our own.
I think the reality is at the basis, Kennedy was killed by a small group of frightened, greedy men and nothing more. I mean,
Probably. I mean, that's really what it boils down to, because it's usually what it always boils down to.
like I said, these theories are unhinged. They're crazy. And they've always been out there. They just kind of like been hiding in the shadows. Some of it people talk about and they do believe, and some people are like really hooked on them.
Have you done? Are you going to do the Meyer version of what happened for the Kennedy assassination? Because even he talks about it.
I don't have the Meyer stuff in here. I was, since it's unhinged night, I would let you add that to it, because, like I said, I don't pretend to be knowledgeable on the Meyer things.
Okay.
If I was, you want, let you pick it up on the next one, because we're going to talk about the hollowed earth now.
Okay.
All right. The hollowed earth theory predates Kennedy by several centuries. Admiral Richard Byrd, polar expeditions of 1920 to 1940 are the modern touchstone. Byrd kept extensive journals, some of which, in the hands of certain researchers, describe encounters with a warm inner realm beneath Antarctic's ice accessible through a polar opening. Mainstream science describes this either as a forgery or misinterpretation. My mouth is dry, guys. Or cottonmouth, one of the two. The Hollow Earth community describes it to suppress evidence. The inner Earth, okay, in the most developed versions of the theory, is inhabited. The inhabitants, called the Agarthans and the Agartha network, Agartha network, are sometimes the inner Earth civilizations and are either surviving branch of ancient humanity or a pre-human species of beings who retreated underground during a surface cataclysm thousands of years ago and have since developed a civilization far in advance of our own. They have, in some versions, spacecraft, not clunky rocket powered kind, craft that operate on electromagnetic or torsion field principles, which is why UFO sightings near the ocean polar regions are high. The craft are not coming from space, they are coming from inside. This I can kind of believe and get behind. Me and my old ladies had numerous debates about this. You know, like they're coming from the ocean, they're coming from there. Either one, they're a new species. Like everything everybody's seeing is either a new species, the government, or these things from inner Earth. You know, it's the one thing that kind of makes sense to like answer the whole alien thing. Um, the Kennedy connection, as developed by certain researchers whose names I will not speak aloud because I don't want to give them more traffic. Um, Kennedy, in the months before his assassination, was briefed on the Agartha situation. The inner Earth civilization had made contact not with humanity, but with the U.S. government, specifically through channels connected to Project Paperclip scientists brought over from Nazi Germany, who had themselves been pursuing inner Earth research based on a program initiated by Himmler, SS Occult Research Division of the, I can't pronounce that. This part is real. By the way, this was a genuine SSS institute dedicated to proving the historical and racial mythologies of the Nazi regime through any means possible. They were looking for artifacts. They were looking for various things. We were even sent over to recover some of this stuff. You know, like I said, it was real. It investigated runestones and skull shapes and sent expeditions to Antarctica. The leap from Nazi Occult Research Institute to make contact with inner Earth civilizations is one I cannot help you with. But researchers in this area cross it with great confidence. The Kennedy briefing on this situation revealed something that terrified him. What it was varies by source. Some say he was told the inner Earth civilization had been running surface governments as a parallel control structure for millennia. Some say he was shown evidence that major world leaders were not what they appeared. Some say he was told that the inner Earth beings had a plan for the surface humanity that the American government had agreed to cooperate with. Kennedy refused. The refusal was a death sentence. So anyway, I'll let you go with the Meyer stuff.
Okay. Meyer's pretty simple. He says that it was a CIA coup. It was done from the grassy knoll. Um, and he does talk about it a little bit, but that's pretty much the general the general consensus is that the CIA was the one that did it, that ordered it, that orchestrated it, the whole nine yards. And to find evidence, I mean, you're looking at, like, let's say the Bay of Pigs, the fact that they were dismantling parts of the CIA networks, such as the mafia and not trying to be, perpetuate the Cold War, which may have been their original mandate, things like that, really point towards, Meyer being correct in this. It also seems like the most plausible. So we've actually been being ran by the CIA um, since the assassination of Kennedy.
Oh, okay, wait a minute. So he's saying Meyer's saying it's the CIA,
He said it's the CIA, yes.
but why the CIA?
Um, I don't remember exactly why, but there was because he talks about some of this stuff in passing, um, because he's being asked about it, but he doesn't want to give too much information. But just from what he was saying is that the CIA, they probably felt threatened from what Kennedy was doing. Like I said, if you go and look at like all the pressures that were being put on him, I mean, this was more like an operation of self-preservation than anything.
Well, I mean, they had to have been protecting something. They either had to have been protecting,
Themselves.
but yeah, but for some reason though. I mean, there had to have been like some.
No, they just protecting their job, their power. They like what they were doing. I mean, it gave you've got a black budget to go do any kind of spycraft you want, be evil, manipulative, and you've got the ego because you're toppling governments and you're ordering hits and doing things that nobody even knows that you did. I mean, that plays into your ego big time. Take that away from somebody, and then they lose their relevance.
Hmm.
I mean, we've done dumber shit for less.
Oh, I mean, I agree. We have we about took out the population. No, we should talk about the Statue of Liberty
Sam,
one day. Sam, okay? I noticed you've been hearing them. I've been hearing her.
I don't know. Sam, Sam, hey, Sam, Sam, are you up? Okay, there we go. I don't know. I'm wondering if she's having seizures.
Seizures.
Yeah, because what she just had, either that or she was fucking peeling out in her sleep. Cause
Oh
like
well, I mean,
she's been like, did you hear her breathing earlier?
yeah. I mean, I was
It
kind of,
it
I
was
was kind of
very
distracted a
shaky.
little bit. I was listening. I was like wondering what that was, and she if there was some kind of issue or
Y-
something. And
Yeah, like her breath was shaky, and then she just spazzed out here in the hammock with me.
she might just be
Uh,
dreaming about running or something.
Yeah, I know. I worry about her because I mean we had a scare back when we got housed up. I had all kinds of blood tests on her. We thought that she had Lyme disease, but it turned out to be a false positive. So, her kidney and everything else, her health was good. But, you know, this trip, since we've been on this trip, we've had a lot of issues health wise for both of us, and it's kind of, um, it just sometimes she kind of makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, I mean, she's your buddy. You got to keep an eye on her. Um,
Yeah.
Now the next one is the simulation theory. Have you heard of that when it comes to Kennedy?
No.
Okay. To sum it up in a few words, none of this happened. It was all designed.
I kind of like the hologram thing for fucking 9/11.
Uh, kind of. I mean, now here's the thing. Elon Musk has said publicly that there is 1 in a billion chance that we live in a base reality. Nick Bostrom, an Oxford philosopher, has argued formally that if sufficient advanced civilizations exist, and if they run historical simulations, then the number of simulated realities vastly exceed the number of base realities. And therefore, any given reality is almost certainly simulated. This is not a fringe position or a conspiracy theory. This is,
No, I fully believe it.
yeah, this is a published in academic philosophical journals and science journals, and this is being discussed right now as we speak by serious physicists. And there's a lot of people that believe it. Um, Not to get too far out of whack, there is a group of researchers that have uh, started what they call the red light test. They invite people in, you go into this dark room, there's this red light laser that's on the wall, and it's the only thing in there. And you're supposed to sit by the light and you're supposed to stare at this line that's on the wall. And you and it and that being the only things that's going on at the time, if you stare at that light, you start to see little numbers and patterns and things. Basically, they're trying to say that this is an indicator that we live in a simulation. Anyway.
Yeah, have you heard? There's a guy that was on Tim Bayou that he's a leading researcher. I tried to get an interview with him once. I can't remember his name. But he talked about kind of like we're all attracted to each other because it's kind of like Facebook groups and stuff like that. So he did the whole simulation, but our groupings are based like social media groups and families and type stuff like that. So in one lifetime, we may be best friends. In the next reality, we might be, husband and wife or father and son or whatever. And so we just kind of rotate in and out of these roles, but we're generally around the same spirit group. And then this is where he starts getting into the man in the driver's seat theory.
Did you ever watch True Detective?
No.
It is the greatest show in American history. It had, um, oh God, I can't think of the names now. I mean, here I'm calling it the greatest show in American history. I gotta go look it up. But anyway, there's a quote in there that life is circular, that we constantly repeat the same thing over and over again. Um,
Until we learn our lesson and do something else.
You need to watch it though. I mean, it's the one. Let's see, it was series one. Matthew McConaughey and what's his name? He's the one playing on the zombie stuff.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of the other name. It's gonna bug me if I don't say it. Woody Harrelson.
Uh-huh.
Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. But yeah, you definitely should check it out because it's like the one of the weirdest and best show that I have watched it over and over again. But anyway, like I said, this is not a fringe position. This is the simulation theory applied to Kennedy's assassination is the most cosmically. I'm not sure how I should say that, but it is one of the craziest and one probably the most important theories of the show here. And it goes like this: the Kennedy assassination did not happen in physical reality; it happened in code. It was written by someone or something outside the simulation for a purpose that may include entertainment, historical study, or a calibration of a complex social system. In this model, asking who killed Kennedy is like asking who killed Hamlet. And the answer is Shakespeare, the playwright, the one who wrote it. The CIA, the mob, Oswald, Rudy, the grassy knoll, they're not conspirators. They are characters rendered with sufficient complexity to feel like independent agents. but ultimately executing a script. And here is where the theory gets rather interesting, if not clever. If the assassination was written, if it was designed, then the question becomes, what does it mean? What is the simulation trying to produce with this plot point? The assassination produced the Vietnam War escalation, the collapse of American liberalism, the radicalization of the 1960s, the permanent paranoia that has characterized American political culture ever since. It produced Watergate, which produced a distrust of the government, which produced the conditions for everything that followed and is happening today. If you were designing a simulation that modeled the decay of the democratic republic, the slow erosion of institutional trust, the polarization of citizenry, the emergence of tendencies, you could not have scripted this any better. The Kennedy assassination, in simulated terms, is called a catastrophic function. A moment when the simulation, God, I can't talk. A moment when it branches into a more unstable and therefore more interesting configuration. And we are living in the interesting branch of it. I find this theory both most defensible and emotionally devastating. Because if it were true, if we're in a civilization, then the grief doesn't go away. Jackie Kennedy's grief was real inside the simulation. The grief of the nation was real inside the simulation. The grief is just heavier without the bullets if they were physical or rendered. The simulate this theory doesn't make Dallas any better. It just makes it stranger. Is that her?
Mm-hmm.
What when do you get into a place you can have her checked?
Oh, she's always snored.
Oh, okay.
She's snoring right now. Yeah, yeah. Try having a dog that likes to snore in your ear all night.
Oh, I used to have one. I mean, I miss dogs.
Yeah.
Now, this one is the occult ritual sacrifice. We get into some sacred geometry and Kennedy as the king must die. Michael Hoffman II, Jim Mars,
Oh, I know Jim Mars. He's cool.
yeah, James Downward, a tradition of researchers who argued that the Kennedy assassination was not merely political, it was ritual. So let me walk you through this argument. The Dealey Plaza is named after George Dealey, a Dallas civil leader and member of the Freemasonry. The plaza is shaped, and I want you to look that up because it is genuinely striking, like an ancient sacrificial site, a killing ground designed with sight lines, a space.
I've been to Daily Plaza. It's right there next to the Greyhound bus station, and there's a shelter about maybe 4 or 5 blocks from there. So yeah, I've hung around where I've even seen the book Dispository.
Mm. Now, you know where Elm Street is.
Vaguely, yes.
Okay. Anyway, this is where there's like elevated positions on all three sides. The plaza sits at a three-way convergence of three roads: Commerce, Mains, and Elm, forming a trinity. It sits on land that was once used by the indigenous Caddo people as a ceremonial ground. And it sits, researchers in this tradition emphasize, at the 33rd degree of north latitude, 32.78 degrees north, and to be more precise, within rounds to the 33rd degree in certain systems of management. 33 in Masonic tradition is the highest degree of the Scottish Rite. It is also in various occultic traditions the number of transformation, of completion, of sacrifice. James, in his notorious essay, King Kill 33, written in collaboration with Hoffman and published in 1987, argues that Kennedy's assassination was a piece where he calls Masonic stagecraft, a public ritual killing designed to produce a specific psychic effect on the American population. The target of the ritual, the three aspects of the king. In an ancient vegetation cult mythology described by James George, the Golden Brawl, the king must be killed at the height of his power so that his power can be released back into the land. The sacrifice produces a transfer of energy from the individual to the collective. Kennedy, young, vital, beautiful, beloved, and the apex of his power, was in this reading the perfect sacrificial king. Hold on. Here. Yeah, stick it in my thing. Sorry, my son needed a mouse. Where was I?
You're talking about the sacrificial king.
Okay, perfect sacrificial king. Okay, with its specific geometry, its latitude, its history, its name, this was the perfect ritual space. The three shots represent the 3 degrees of the Masonic initiation: the fatal headshot, the master architect whose death and resurrection at the center of the Masonic mythology. Oswald was the 3 unworthy craftsmen, the false assassin, the ritual scapegoat whose death was also required and who was also ritually killed by Ruby, whose own name, Ruby, means red, the color of sacrifice in multiple occult traditions. I feel like some of this is reaching. I don't know. I mean, I do believe in like a lot of the Freemason stuff, but I have always felt that this whole thing about the Freemasons, or the Freemasons may have been behind part of it, but I don't know. How do you feel about the Freemasons?
I don't see them as bad. I've met Masons. Especially when you're in like a business networking group or you go through the Chamber of Commerce. They're very, you need a Masonic lodge before you even open up a city. They're usually the first building, and so they're very involved in the management and development of the cities around the lodges. So and the requirements and stuff like that that they have to get in. I've talked to a guy, and it's I don't know. I don't see it as nefarious, but also I'm not Christian, so I don't see it as a threat.
Well, they don't believe in God that way. You have to believe
You
in
have to
something.
have a belief in a God. Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what it is as long as you believe in it.
Now, we kind of expand it. Now, notice I said the golden bra.
Mhm.
This is real. The mythology of the sacred or the sacrifice king is real and ancient and documented across dozens of cultures. The idea of the power elite in modern states practicing something descended from ancient mystery, religion, tradition is not entirely insane. So we have to talk about the Bohemian Grove. I know you heard about that. The big
Oh
owl
yeah,
thing.
that's what
Okay.
made Alex Jones famous.
Yep. Um, Now, this encampment where senior American political and business leaders annually gather. Of course, they moved it from a for a ceremony involving a mock sacrifice before a giant stone owl. Actually, it's not a stone owl. It's like it's hollow on the inside. Anyway, I don't know if that matters. There was like some speakers and shit in there. Anyway, it is documented and a confirmed event. The ceremony is called the cremation of care. The cremation of care. That is the actual name of the ceremony performed by actual American presidents. Every single one of them.
Mhm.
I'm not saying Kennedy was ritually sacrificed by the Freemasons under the, you know, for ancient mystery religion and for the Scottish Rite and lodges. But the Bohemian Grove stuff is real, and they do this, and every president is supposed to take part in it.
What is you said it's a something of care. Like
Cremation
what
of
is
care.
okay, what exactly is intended? Like I've been through pagan ceremonies where on a solstice they do a turning of the earth. It's just a ritual that they do to symbolize the new season.
Now,
What is this for?
this is for the ascension of the president. Okay, basically, you have the president. He stands out. He or she stands out there, and they bring. Now, I don't know if it's a real person or not. But they supposedly wrap. They supposedly bring out this individual, and they're wrapped in like this fabric, I guess you would say. And there's this big fire in front of the owl. And so the president has to take this knife and stab it in the chest. And then two other guys help him lift it and put it in the fire, and they burn it. This is supposed to be his gift to the owl, gift to the god, and the ascension to become president. And they do this. Every single one of them does this.
Hmm.
I mean, we have video. I mean,
Well, yeah, I'm just yeah, that just it sounds very concerning. Um, I mean, now that I understand what they're doing, I've seen the Bohemian Grove tapes. I mean, if you're into any conspiracy or you just look up Alex Jones, you're gonna
yeah,
find it.
but there's more. Like there's a gentleman. He went out there and he did. He was trying to be like Alex Jones, and he got far more than what he asked for. And there's another guy who went out there when they were like closed down, like during COVID and stuff. Got in and walked around, and that's how I know the place that the owl is actually hollow. And they had like a storage room and stuff in there, and they had like other furniture and things. I mean, the whole place is wild. I mean, and it's not the only weird place out there. There's this up the road from it. There's this weird UFO cult, and it's run by this eye doctor, and he has all of this weird imagery and stuff out there. And he passed away, and there's been a fight in the family, and then these corporations and shady groups would move in, and they would have meetings and stuff out there. So I don't know. There's a lot of weird shit that goes around Bohemian. Um, Now the next theory is called the soul replacement theory.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to be real clear about the theory I'm about to describe. That I found going much further down the internet than I had intended. The walk-in theory begins as a concept from New Age metaphysics. The idea that the human body can, under certain circumstances, be voluntarily or involuntarily inhabited by a different soul from the one that originally occupied it. The original soul departs, perhaps because its mission is complete, or perhaps it can no longer bear its circumstances.
So kind of like how Travelers works.
All right. Um, and the new soul, often described as more advanced or more cosmically aware, steps in. In certain channeled, I said channeled, texts from 1970 to 1980, and what I am describing actually documents that exist in the world and people paid money to read. John F. Kennedy is described not as an ordinary human being who become president, but as a walk-in.
Oh boy.
Yeah, a
Yes,
being.
because humans are wretches and we're all sinners, and so therefore we can't be good human beings.
No, can't be good human beings. Yeah, that's right, exactly. A being of advanced cosmic origin who entered the Kennedy body at some point in his early adulthood, specifically to fulfill a mission of planetary transformation.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. Uh, but yeah, there's people who roll with this, and there now. I'm not going to say the woman's name, but there is a woman, and she's still alive, and she's been channeling the ongoing communications with Kennedy, the walk-in consciousness that was part of him, and she's been doing this for like 30 years. She gives seminars. She has a Substack. She published transcripts of her conversations with what she describes as Kennedy's higher self, speaking from the fifth dimension, and
That's
even commenting on current events. Now, he even has opinions on cryptocurrency. He's very articulated.
I mean, she has opinions on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think she's another con job. But there's people that believe her. Now I need to go to the bathroom. I need another cigarette. The next one is the Saturn Death Cult, the Black Sun, the Cube, and the Ancient God of Time. I think you'll like this one.
I'm gonna take a break with you.
All right, that's fine. Hey guys, we're taking 5 or 4 or 5. Smoke them if you got them. Or use the bathroom. I don't know what it is tonight, but my mouth is so dry. It feels like there's sand in it or something. Normally I go live at 8.
Um,
Somebody asked me when I go live. So.
is there any more for us to cover?
This the Black Sun Cube, an ancient god of time.
Okay, and then after that one, I'm gonna go ahead and tap out.
All right, man, you're good.
So the ancient god of time.
Yeah, this is about Saturn.
Okay, I'm interested.
Okay, the occult tradition, specifically the centric tradition, that combines elements of Cabal and Hermetism, alchemy, and astrology. Saturn is the most important planet, not because it's the most beautiful, though it is, but because Saturn was, in ancient times, the outmost planet visible to the naked eye, the boundary of the known universe, the Lord of limits, the god of time. Saturn in mythology, Kronos in Greek, who ate his own children to prevent them from overthrowing him. Saturn in alchemy is lead, the heaviest and darkest of all metals, which must be transformed through the process into gold. Saturn in astrotheology is called the black sun, the dark aspect of the solar deity, the principle of death and transformation that must precede rebirth. Now, before we continue, I want to toss this out there that this is a growing and rising theory amongst people. Remember me talking about the cubes in places? You're going to see the cubes when you go to Washington. You'll see these black cubes and in different places. They'll look like art exhibits, and you'll even see some references to Saturn and things like that. It's because that we have a long-standing history with Saturn. There has been a lot of worshipers of Saturn. When you start cracking all of these, secret societies and things, this is always at the heart of it.
Yeah, night worshippers.
Yeah. I mean, there was Christian beliefs and whatever, and then there was Saturn, and Saturn by far is the oldest and the newest growing cult and group of followers there is, and there's a lot of belief behind it.
What is Saturn's? What's so important about Saturn?
That, well, some people believe that there's a ancient civilization there, either still there or they're coming back. That they believe that we are from there. They believe that they're the ones that decide everything, our fates, everything. Like, we're in line with Saturn. I mean, the amount of stuff that is behind Saturn. I mean, if you go to the Vatican, there's so much on Saturn. It's crazy. Saturn is just through the folklore and through the history and like they constantly go into it and talk about it. And maybe they're right, but I mean, at the center of most occultic traditions is Saturn. At the center of these secret societies is Saturn. At the center of our government is Saturn.
So we really think that there's this. I thought they were supposed to be on Mars, not on fucking
No,
Saturn.
Mars is but see, it's a death cult. I mean, the whole thing is a death cult. I mean, this is why we have wars. This is why we have, Mars is for war. Mars is for war, but Saturn is for death. That's the reason why, But anyway, allegedly, by certain elite groups, Saturn is not worshipped as a god of destruction, but as a governor of transformation. Death is not the enemy. Death is the mechanism. The Saturn death cult, as researchers in this area have called it, is the worship of death and transformation as an engine of power. The Kennedy assassination in this framework is a Saturnine, I'm probably pronouncing that and bastardize it. Anyway, it's a ritual to Saturn. The president as the Cronus figure, the old king who must be devoured so the new order can emerge. Dallas as the Black Sun altar, November 22nd, 1963, as the date chosen for its relationship with the position of Saturn. I checked this. Saturn was in Aquarius in November 1963.
I could see that would be an underlying, like how they chose the site and stuff. I could see a ritualistic point of view. I mean, or it could be just, hey, we've got a guy, LBJ, we can put him to power. He hates Kennedy anyways, and he's got the Dallas police on fucking lockdown.
Now, the more interesting version of the Saturn theory doesn't require, these beliefs. It argues instead that certain elite groups, whether they generally believe in Saturn, they just use the language and symbolism of occultic traditions as a coding system, a way of communication with groups or marking events to create plausible deniability. If your ritual murder is also your political assassination, then you announce it to your fellow initiates through the use of specific numbers, dates, symbols, and then you have simultaneously accomplished the political goal and reinforce the group's internal mythology. The symbol does double duty. You remember me telling you about how they used the Bible to, in the hotel rooms to pass code and stuff? Basically the same thing. The occultic elements of Dallas are not proof of this, but they're there. I mean, you can't call this. Or you know how when you that they say that Saturnism and Saturn is a tie-in to Satanism as well. This was real big back then.
I could see that.
They are proof that the group that uses occultic symbolism as an organized language, like I said, like you're saying, it's just not as crazy as it sounds. And they've been doing this for thousands of years. We know this. We've seen it in the when how they secretly passed alchemy records down to different people and how they hidden clues and stuff. I mean, you have to have a Harvard degree in crazy to understand some of that stuff. There is more. We can either pick them up later or. But tomorrow night it's going to be the dead internet theory, and hopefully there won't be some asshole that comes in and kills the vibe.
I think the 5 was perfectly fine. You picked right back up. It took you a minute, but you did fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mouth is dry too. I think I'm going to get me some mints or something. I don't know why it's dry, but it's dry. I mean,
well, when you talk, you get dry mouth. I mean, I do the same thing. That's why I'm drinking a cup of coffee most of the time. All right. I will. Tomorrow I'll touch base with you. And I think I should be. If I'm not I won't be in Williamsport tomorrow, or not Williamsport. I won't. I'll be in Shepherdstown, not tomorrow, but the next day if I push through for the next 2 days. So and then probably after that I'm gonna lose signal as I go by Harper's Ferry until I get to the other side of it.
Okay. Just let me know. We'll go from there.
Okay. All right, man. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right, man. Be good. Thanks again. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Sorry for the earlier interruption. Hopefully tomorrow will be better. Once again, stay paranoid, my friends, and come join us tomorrow. Once again, thank you. It does. I mean, if you guys want to talk, I can stay on for a while. I mean, I'm not in no big hurry. But yeah, yeah. I think that's Black Hole Sun. I think that's, ain't it? Where they, like, there was some symbology or something that come from that. They were talking about it. I guess we should end this with something like one thing I did right here. There is a final theory, and this one bugs me. It always has bugged me. And I think I do want to leave it with you guys, so you can hear it, you can think about it, you can pass it through. Here's the thing about spending time in this territory. These topics, these conspiracy things, and I mean, this is what I do. This is what I like to work on. This is what I like to talk about sometimes. We talk about the lizard people, the Anunnaki, the simulation, the Saturn death cult that I didn't expect. It's not that any of them are true. It's that they're all structurally identical. And what I mean by that is all of these have relationships with this and other things, so we can kind of like tie this stuff back, and we can kind of like say, okay, we see this here and we see this there, and we draw conclusions, and I'm not telling you guys to believe any of this. If you learned anything tonight, it's that I wanted you to learn that these theories are out there. Every single one of these theories, from the most grounded to the unhinged, has the same shape. These are reality. There is realities visible to the ordinary human beings, and there is a deeper reality operating beneath or behind it. And the visible reality is being controlled, managed, or harvested by beings or systems who inhabit a deeper reality. The CIA is a shadow government. The reptilians are a shadow species. The Anunnaki is shadow creators. The simulators are shadow authors. The Saturn death cult is a shadow religion. The interdimensional controllers are shadow ecologists. They are all the same story. And we have been telling this story since the first human beings sat around the first fire. and looked at the darkness beyond the firelight and wondered what was looking back, what was staring back at us in the dark. What if, and I mean this seriously, as a philosophical proportion, what if the persistence of this story is itself the data? Not the lizard people, not the Anunnaki, but that something about human experience generates the story across every culture, across every century. Something about being human produces the conviction that the visible world is not the whole world. The power is not what it appears. That the people who seem to be in control are serving something that is not visible and not human and not visible to us. Think about that. These people are worshiping something that we don't know about, that we don't understand, that we don't see. We sit here, we talk about these subjects. We wish we knew. You wish you knew. Tonight, after the stream, I will go outside and I will smoke a cigarette. And I will look over into the forest, and I know something is looking back at me. I can hear it, can't see it. I know it's there. I know it's around. We have all types of animals up here. We have bears, we have deers. There's panthers over on the other side of the woods over yonder. At night, sometimes you hear a woman scream, but it's not a woman. It's this large cat in a tree. So what generates this conviction? Maybe it's genuine perception. Maybe human beings are dimly aware of the forces. Maybe we see it. Maybe we feel it. The hairs on the back of our neck. There's something there. There's something that tugs on our shirt at night or walks by us and we don't see it. Maybe human beings do generally operate beyond individual awareness, and we shape histories without our own consciousness knowing it. Maybe the story of the lizard people is the only narrative container large enough to hold the intuition that the game is rigged in ways that no individual actor fully understands or controls. The game is rigged, guys. We know the game is rigged. That much seems true, not by the reptiles, but the shape of the rigging, the way power concentrates, self-perpetuates, and protects itself, does produce an outcome that looks from the ground like a plan executed by beings with no human feelings, no human empathy, no investment in whether the original people live or die. The lizard people are a myth. Like I said to that man earlier. And I'm sorry you guys see me that way. I don't like to become aggressive toward a subscriber or somebody that's on the channel. It made me feel bad. It makes me feel bad now. But he was insulting my guest. He was insulting me. He was insulting you guys. And I'm sorry I had to respond. I'm sorry for his arrogance. I'm sorry for his behavior. Because he didn't like how I pronounced something or said something. And honestly, I can't help it tonight. My mouth feels like the Sahara. I think Kennedy saw the things that were hidden behind the curtain. I do. The things we see every day, the things we think about, the things we talk about. And he tried to grab it by the throat, and they killed him for it. And we still don't know who they are. We have no idea who took out Kennedy. You would think that after all of this time, after all of these books, after all of these people that looked into this, we would know more about this than anything else in the world. But we seem to know more about the aliens than we know about who killed JFK. And that, to me, is bizarre. So I wonder that maybe it's because it's not any one thing. Maybe they're not a group at all. Maybe they're a force, a tendency, a property of human systems that, above a certain scale and complexity, produce behaviors that look indistinguishable from initial violence. Not lizard people. Something stranger. Something that doesn't have a name yet. Something we're still circling. Delhi Plaza, November 22nd, 1963, 12:30 p.m. We have been circling it for 60 years, and we will circle it for 60 more. And the thing at the center, the real thing, the true thing, is still waiting for us to find the right question. We haven't found it yet, but we're still looking. And I hope maybe this is enough, and one of us one day will ask the right question, or someone will tell us the truth for once. Stay paranoid, my friends, and safe.